What up, though? The Republic, Columbus, Indiana newspaper, Tuesday, November 15th, 1932. The Republic newspaper in Columbus, Indiana, Tuesday, November 15th, 1932. Black Shirt Gang Indians. Men held descendants of peaceful tribe that lives in Maryland. Black Shirt Gang Indians. These men held the descendants of a peaceful tribe that lives in Maryland, LaPlante, Missouri, November 15th. And the 5 men being held in connection with the Black Shirt Gang robberies of recent weeks. Authorities said they have the descendants of one of the oldest groups to settle in America, the strange, quiet Weesort tribe. Okay, it says Black Shirt Gang Indians. And then it says the men held descendants of peaceful tribe that lives in Maryland. So I'm assuming that the Black Shirt Gang Indians are the men who held descendants of the peaceful tribe that lives in Maryland. And then it goes on to say, in the 5 men being held in connection with the Black Shirt Gang robberies of recent weeks. Again, I assume that the 5 men being held with the Black Shirt Gang robberies in connection with the Black Shirt Gang robberies of recent weeks are who they are terming as the Black Shirt Gang Indians. Now, I'm not sure if they're calling the Black Shirt Gang Indians the descendants of one of the oldest groups to settle in America, the strange, quiet Weesort tribe, or their separate peoples. Let's go over it again. Black Shirt Gang Indians. Men held descendants of peaceful tribe that lives in Maryland. Oh, okay. Okay. So the Black Shirt Gang Indians are the men being held, and they're saying that they are descendants of peaceful tribe that lives in Maryland. And the 5 men being held in connection with the Black Shirt Gang robberies of recent weeks, authorities said they have the descendants of one of the oldest groups to settle in America, the strange, quiet Weesort tribe. The men were arrested after citizens of Charles and St. Mary's counties had reported depredations by men they designated as members of a Black Shirt Gang. The first white settlers to reach southern Maryland in the 17th century found the territory inhabited by a peaceful tribe of Indians, ancestors of the present-day Weesorts. The first white settlers to reach southern Maryland in the 17th century found the territory inhabited by a peaceful tribe of Indians. Okay? This means that they didn't have any problems with those, quote, peaceful Indians, end quote. Or peaceful, or quote, peaceful tribe of Indians, end quote. They did they thing, they did they thing. They said hi and bye. They saw him, they was like, what up, though? That was it. ancestors of the present day we sorts. This is the name of the so-called peaceful tribe of Indians, ancestors of the present day we sorts. Unlike the Indians of other sections who were pushed back and gradually disappeared, these bronzed natives remained, tilling their own land and seeking to assimilate the customs and civilizations of the white people. Now, this is the reason why they're calling them peaceful tribe of Indians. Because these bronzed men and women tilling their own lands, they said, were seeking to assimilate the customs and civilization of the white people. Well, did they have a choice? Or did the waves of, quote, white people, end quote, make it to where they didn't have a choice? And why would they ignore or stop doing or behaving in a manner that was parallel to their own customs, or recognize their own customs, and try to and start assimilating to the customs and the civilization of the white people? Now, you know what civilization brought us. Yeah? Civilization hasn't brought us anything good. I've talked about this before. If the so-called white people brought civilization here, what was we doing before they got here? We was okay. We didn't need civilization. There's nothing wrong with being wild. See, we ain't gonna settle for nothing but all the way. Let's shake it. It says the first white settlers to reach, and we know there's no such thing as a white human or a black human. Okay, so who are these people termed white settlers? Well, they're the waves of people who came here from the place that is called Europe or Asia or even Africa, because it's all one landmass, Afro-Eurasia. So it could have been any manner of those people who they were terming as white. But for the purposes of this discussion, let's just say that they were the people who you term as white today. Okay? Now, it says the men were arrested after citizens of Charles and St. Mary's counties had reported depredations by men they designated as members of a black shirt gang. After citizens of Charles and St. Mary's counties had reported depredations by men they designated as members of a black shirt gang. In the 5 men being held in connection with the black shirt gang robberies of recent weeks, authorities said they have the descendants. In the 5 men being held, authorities said they have the descendants of one of the oldest groups to settle in America, the strange, quiet Wisort tribe. And then it says, the first white settlers to reach southern Maryland in the 17th century found the territory inhabited by a peaceful tribe of Indians, ancestors of the present day Wisorts, bronzed natives or bronzed American Indians. So The We Sorts, or this black shirt gang, who authorities said are the descendants of the We Sorts, were in fact not settlers, because the first white settlers to reach southern Maryland in the 17th century found the territory inhabited by a peaceful tribe of Indians, ancestors of the present day We Sorts. Unlike the Indians of other sections who were pushed back and gradually disappeared, well, where did they disappear to? They just vanished into thin air. No, they ain't vanish into thin air. They you. You is them. Who be they? They is you. Unlike the Indians of other sections who were pushed back and gradually disappeared, pushed back to where? Pushed back where? Where was they pushed back to? Back in the house. These bronze natives remained just like your people remained. Remember, everybody ain't go nowhere. See, everybody don't move 'cause somebody else say move. Even when they're talking about these bronze natives, they're talking about the people, your ancestors, who they saw, who they visually or physically saw. I said it before and I say it again. In your family, you got people of all complexions. See, these people call you what they want to call you. It says, unlike the Indians of other sections who were pushed back and gradually disappeared, these bronze natives remained, tilling their own lands and seeking to assimilate the customs and civilization of the white people, tilling their own lands. These bronzed American Indians, the We Sorts, the people who the black shirt gang come from, the people who they call the black shirt gang, tilling their own lands, remained, tilling their own lands and seeking to assimilate. You believe that? The customs and civilization of the white people. Why? What? Your people wasn't happy with the way things was going before the white settlers came? And again, just because they say white settlers, these ain't the king and queen's men. These was all manner of people, mostly thirsty, begging for a popsicle, throwing a baby out with the bathwater, broke, starving, and gang banging. Why would your people want to assimilate the customs and civilization of them? They wouldn't. Do they do it today? Or was they forced to or coerced to? Today, there are about 500 dark-skinned residents who claim to be descendants of these American Indians in Charles County of Maryland. Listen, it says there are about 500 who claim to be descendants. See, the other thousands and millions, they just don't claim to be nobody. They is who they is. Just like I was telling somebody, and I established that, the conversation, we was going to be truthful. And I said, well, these certain people have to be patriotic because they had to earn their whiteness. They had to earn their place So they have to be patriotic. But why would you, who sprouted up from the soil, who are the original people of this soil, the Indians, the American Indians, your people, whatever they call themselves, maybe you one of the Weesort tribe. Why would you have to be patriotic? Why would I have to be patriotic about a place that I'm from, that I originate from, that my people is from? My people, the only Americans it ever was, is, and will be. Why would you need to be patriotic? You wouldn't. So it's about 500 dark-skinned residents who say they the descendants of the Weesorts in Charles County of Maryland. They are collected in 3 communities, 2 near the banks of the Potomac River and the 3rd in the northeastern part of the county. The color of their skin, see, now we on anthropology type shit. The color of their skin, the shape of their nose, their cheekbones, their hair texture. Like, we all don't got different hair textures. Like, we don't have variations in hair textures and the way our nose is shaped and our lips. See, this is what happens when you let somebody get too comfortable with telling you who you is based on what they see. And what they see, they don't always have good intentions about their perceptions don't always come from a place of good intentions. It just may come from a place of lack. The color of their skin, for the most part, is a dark brown, just like you, just like some of your family members, but some are of a lighter hue. Of course, some are of a lighter hue. We all away from 100% dark cacao, espresso, to French vanilla, lemon meringue, red, caramel, beige babies. Their hair is long, straight, and raven black. And listen, when they say straight, see, when they say straight, they do not mean golden retriever. Okay? They don't mean that. They mean straight as if you properly moisturized your hair. But some are of a lighter hue. Their hair is long, straight, and raven black. See, raven black. Yeah, if your hair raven black, if it ain't raven black, then it ain't raven black. See, they talking about the people who they seen, who they saw, and they putting that on everybody. From Cali to Ohio to Chicago to New York to Boston to Florida to Alabama to Texas to all over. To Canada, tippity top of Canada to the biggity bottom of Argentina. They putting that on everybody because of who they saw. Their hair is long, straight, and raven black. And in their facial features, high cheekbones and high foreheads predominate. They seldom associate with the white and Negro residents. They seldom associate with the white and Negro residents. Now, what do they mean by they seldom associate with the white and Negro residents? Who is a white? No such thing as a white. Who is a Negro? No such thing as a Negro. No such thing as a black. So who they talking about? Again, who they talking about? Locally, they are known as the Weesort tribe. This name originated during a court trial in 1895. They're going to pinpoint when the name that these people called themselves originated during a court trial. This name originated during a court trial, or was it discovered by the people who never heard it before? Or did it become known to the people who didn't have that knowledge before? Court trial in 1895 when Cecilia Swan, who testified she was a descendant of the Indians, was suing a railroad company for injuries alleged to have been suffered when she was directed to ride in a baggage car. Asked as to her nationality, she replied she was a Weesort. Asked as to her nationality, what would you say is your nationality if you was asked? You gonna say I'm a black, right? You gonna say you a black? You gonna say you African American is your nationality? I'm a black man. I'm a black woman. Is that what you gonna say your nationality is? She replied she was a Weesort. See what she did? She said the name that her people called themselves as their nationality. What did your people call themselves? Listen, I've been looking to see what my people called themselves as well. Instead of always going off what somebody else called you based on how thick your bottom lip is. Or if you combed your head that day when they saw you. Asked as to her nationality. What's your nationality? You ever thought about it? Or you just say stuff? Asked as to her nationality, she replied she was a Weesort. Now, do you think this Indian sister, said she was I'm a Weesort. I'm a Weesort. Do you think that's how she was talking? You think that's how she came off as I'm a Weesort? Maybe, just maybe. This is what the foreigners heard. And it's possibly not what she said. We saw it. She replied she was a Weesort. See how that changed? We saw it. But they wrote in their newspaper, they said, Weesort. I'm not saying she didn't say Weesort. But what I'm saying is they wrote it the best way they could understand what she was saying. And to the best of their abilities. In terms of writing something down in English. Translating it from American, the American that she spoke. She replied she was a Weesort. Since then, the name has been used to distinguish this group of people. Always got to put a label on you and distinguish you from somebody, but always act like they don't know who you is. Who be they? You tell me who be they. Agriculture, chiefly tobacco raising, has been their principal occupation. Their homes generally frame houses. Not a teepee, not a tent, not a hut. The same house Big Mama had. Their homes, generally frame houses, are near their fields, are near their fields. Do the right thing.